Alrighty, we're back. Welcome back to Blackphoenix Entertainment. Let's talk more about professional wrestling. I'll see you guys after the intro. So, here we are. Let's talk about more. Now it's really going to pick up. My last video was more about really, how we started getting into it and just the beginnings of ICW and what we're doing in the backyard and the underground stuff. So, now, year 2000, it definitely picks up. But before we get into that, let's talk about me. You want to know more about me and my professional wrestling and starting out, maybe my moves, my name, and stuff like that. So, when I started off in the backyard, my name was Crazy Carl. That was a name that was given to me. It just randomly, someone just yelled it one day, and I'm just like, that's my name. And honestly, that happened to quite a few of us. We didn't really have set names when we first started in the 90s, and all of a sudden, like, random things would just get, like, popped up, and we're like, oh, that's cool, we're going to keep that. And then we just built off of that and made it our own. So that's what happened with me. Of course, obviously more of a smallish guy, so my style was definitely more high-flying, a lot of hardcore stuff. And near the end of the backyard into the underground stuff, I got more technical because I was able to get into the ring, I was able to get professional training, so my style did change a little bit as far as that goes. I'll talk more about that as I progress through the years here. And moves. So, yeah, I had quite a few signature moves that I did. One of them I saw this wrestler Nova from ECW do. It was a double underhook rocker dropper.
Kick to the stomach!
Haven't seen it before, haven't seen it since. I haven't seen many at all. People do it, people try to imitate it. Haven't seen it done exactly how I do it. So, kudos to me. Another one that I used as a finisher for a while, again being a small guy, was a diamond cutter, ace crusher. For you newer wrestling fans, the RKO.
Carl's back up. Oh, knocked. Oh!
Whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so I used that. I used a couple different forms of it, but mostly it was just the Diamond Dallas Page version of just grabbing you and going straight down with it. The other move that I rarely use, I only did in title matches and big matches or something where we needed more of a pop, is what I call the breakdown. And again, this is another move where I saw a similar version once in Japan, and I'm like, I'm not 100% strong enough to do the move as it's done, but I think I can do it this way. So I practiced it with a couple guys, and I'm like, yeah, it works. So let me show you the quick version of the move.
I don't know.
And this is the stalling version of the move that I was able to do later on once I built up some strength.
No, it can't happen. No, it's gonna happen. No, you suck.
Yeah, so basically it's hard to explain. It's like an Emerald Fusion Power Slam type move if you're familiar with professional wrestling, but I like it because it's so quick and it goes right into a pin, and you don't see it that often, if at all. So I was like, yeah, this is going to be my special move. So here we are, with all that background. Year 2000 for ICW. We move places, move backyards, we get some better cameras, we get some better equipment, and we really kind of restarted the story here. And we restarted the story because we did have a fairly big roster in the 90s, and then, like I said, with that move in 99, we lost some people just lost interest. Honestly, a couple guys got injured and said that's enough for us, so that was a pretty short career for some of them. So we started off, reset, and yeah, it was nice. And I believe my buddy Paul, again, has all those videos. I talk about him a lot here, but I believe he has every single one. So at some point, maybe on a live stream or maybe just another type of video, we'll be able to walk through some of the more intense matches that we had. So, and man, we did that for, I would say, a solid 2 years. We did that from 2000 to 2002. We did all that backyard stuff, and in between that time, we found other backyard federations. We swallowed 2 of them up and gained their roster, and they started wrestling for us. One of them we struck a deal with where they would wrestle for us, and we actually wrestled for them. I have clips from there, and I'll put some of those up just real quick. As you can see, they did have a crowd too. They had a ring set up, so that was actually a pretty good deal for us.
Third match is an MCW Lightweight Championship match. Introducing first from Bridgewater, Massachusetts, professionally trained, Crazy Carl.
Now this 2-year run was probably the most intense run that we had here. Things got hardcore. I did have a couple, I think all of us at one point had an injury scare. I had a couple, and one kid actually had to retire because from concussion, basically, which we've all had at least one. I've had multiple, but this kid, I'm just going to talk about the match real quick because it's hilarious. And this is part of like the storylines I'm talking about. So we had this guy called the Rat Master and this other guy, I'm sorry, I forget your name. I think it was like the Tempest or something like that, something about temping. They were wrestling a match, and Rat Master's thing was cookie sheets. He would literally blast you as hard as he goddamn could in the head with a cookie sheet, and that was one of his gimmicks. That was one of his things he would do. So they were wrestling a match, the kid did it or whatever. So after the match, we get backstage or whatever, the kid's like, hey, that was pretty good, we should wrestle again. And I'm sitting there, I'm booker, owner, whatever, I'm like, you guys should have a cookie sheet challenge match. That would be hilarious. They both agreed to it. One, Paul, the Rat Master, he was going to do it no matter what. So this other kid was like, yeah, sure. So once we split up, I kind of, I took him off to the side. I'm like, you are 100% sure what you're agreeing to, right? He goes, oh, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So the rules were, it's so hilarious. I got to find clips for this. If I find clips of this, I'm putting it in right now. The table over his head. Oh! Right at him. Oh! Oh my god. Yeah, so the rules were, if you got hit in the head 10 times with a cookie sheet, you were done. That was the end of the match. It's absolutely hilarious. I can't, this is what I mean, like the signs of the, not the signs of the times, but those were the times. That's what we did. If you really thought about doing that now, anywhere, like chair shots or whatever, oh, you're gonna get hit in the head 10 times full force, you lose the match. Everybody would nix it. I can't think off the top of my head of a current booker that would allow that. Getting hit once is one thing, but when the when the goal of the match is to literally crush your opponent's skull in, yeah, that's a little much. So anyways, we had that match, and yeah, dude, the kid was out of it. He ended up going home that night. I think he ended up in the hospital. I don't know. Again, some of this stuff is vague to me, trying to remember 20-something years ago. But yeah, so that was that. Yeah, and we did a lot of cool stuff. Like, we had as far as I know, we had a lot of firsts as far as backyard wrestling goes. We had a first cage match. Like, we had it once and done, but locally in our area, in the New England region, I cannot think during that time period of anyone else who did a cage match. Can't think of it. So there's something else that happened in 2001 that I got my first taste of the independents in 2001. I actually went down to Florida, Ocala, Florida, to the Funking Conservatory to train with Dory Funk Jr. I was like, I am doing this. A lot of my stories involve Paul. I mean, he's literally like the brother I never had. We just hung out. Wrestling was our lives. He literally lived at my house for a while. So it was with him. We opened up a Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. Dory Funk had an ad in that magazine for his school, and Paul looked at me, he goes, dude, you're doing this. I'm like, come with me. And he's like, no, this is all you. I'm like, all right. So I'm going to tell that story in another video because there's a lot to go on with that. But just to keep you guys interested, just a little suspense, I basically drained whatever college fund I had to go to Florida and train with Dory Funk Jr. So if that doesn't get you excited to hear my stories of Florida, then I don't know what will. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to end it here because I appreciate you guys watching these videos. And again, I don't want to make them so super long that they're boring or that, you know, you guys got things you got to do. So I get it. I'm going to break up some more. I got some more stories from 2000, 2002. I got some stuff that we did with, I believe it was EWA. I think I'm getting that right. That was the federation that we kind of joined forces and we're trading talent back and forth. And of course, my Dory Funk stories. My stories from my first independent wrestling matches down in Florida. So with that, I will have to leave you on this wrestling vlog. And while you're at it, go down there. Come on, you gotta rock with the flock with me, guys. Gotta rock with the flock. Go hit that red button, subscribe, liking, all that fun stuff. While you're down in my description, go and check it out. I got some discount codes. I got a lot of cool stuff. I got my Discord server link down there. You guys can join me for some chatting on a Discord server. We can game. We can talk about wrestling. If that's really a thing, I will set a wrestling room there, and we can talk about that. With all that being said, it is now time to end it. Thank you once again, everybody. I can't say how much I appreciate it, all my viewers, subscribers, all that stuff. You really make this fun to do, and I definitely appreciate the people who requested me talking about professional wrestling because it's a trip down memory lane for me. Some of this stuff I would rather forget, but now that I'm remembering it and talking about it, it actually brings back some good memories. So definitely appreciate that. So thank you, and rock with the flock, and I'll see you on the next one.